be featured on the Showtime show, Showtime series Masters of Sex Season 2, which is set to premiere later this year. I'm joined with Elijah Rock. What's going on, man?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing real good, man. I want to thank you for being on the show this evening. I truly appreciate it.
No problem, no problem. How did you hear about me?
I've heard about you through social media, and of course, I'm starting to hear more about you now that you are going to be included on Masters of Sex. That's going to be on Showtime. So yeah, I'm familiar with your work, and I'm a fan of yours, man.
Oh, thank you, thank you. The episodes that I am going to be in start no, September 7th, the 21st, and the 28th. So coming up.
So for those that may not be familiar with Masters of Sex, why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about the show and what to expect?
Well, Masters of Sex is a wonderful story. It's on Showtime Sundays at 10 p.m. It's about William Masters and Virginia Johnson, and they were doctors, and they pretty much are doing. He was the leading researcher in sexual response and orgasm and so forth. And so it's really, his story is that starts off in the 50s, and now we're at the end of the 50s, coming into the 60s. And it just got picked up for another season. So there's a lot of wonderful things that are explored in the show.
And exactly how did you first heard of this show? Was this something that you saw yourself interested in? Like, did they reach out to you? Did you reach out to them, vice versa? Like, how exactly did you, got into the show?
Well, I had to audition for the show, and I auditioned for two other roles, and then which I subsequently didn't get, but they called and they offered me this role. So I play a member of the civil rights organization CORE, and so there's this whole civil rights storyline that's going to unfold.
Again, the name of the show is called Masters of Sex, and it plans to premiere season 2 on, you just pointed out already, September the 7th, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is on Showtime. So be on the lookout for that, and hopefully for a lot of you, you got them premium channels on your cable or satellite provider, because from my understanding, Showtime, that's a premium channel, and you may have to pay a little extra if you're gonna get Showtime. So, but so that being said, man, like, what you have any other projects you have in the works other than Master of Sex that you're working on?
Yeah, man, I'm developing some film projects that I'm really excited about. I'm producing a film about Lincoln Perry. Lincoln Perry was also known as Stephen Fetchit. He was he was the first black Hollywood movie star and the highest paid first black millionaire in the 1920s. And I'm going to be producing that and playing Lincoln Perry. It's going to be directed by Antoine Fisher. So I'm very excited about that, and also developing a script to play. We just got the option for me to play Ernie Banks, the famous Cubs baseball player. So those are projects that I'm working on the film side of things. I'm also, of course, I'm auditioning a lot right now for a lot of television and film, and producing some short films as well. So I'm very busy, and I'm also involved in music. So I'm working on music projects along the way. So I'm just creating a lot in a lot of different ways. But the acting is kind of starting to really it's kind of gaining a lot of momentum, if you will.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to the projects that you pointed out, especially the one you play Ernie Banks, legendary Cubs player. And what's very interesting about these roles that you're playing is that it shows versatility on your part as an actor. I feel like for a lot of actors, for a lot of Hollywood stars these days, some are like a little bit more one dimensional. They focus on one genre and they just ran with it. But in your case, you showing that you could do drama, you could do sports, you can do comedy or romance, all sorts of stuff. And I give you a lot of credit for doing that because not a whole lot of people can pull that off, man.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I think a lot of my background has to do with that, and um, being a theater trained actor, not only trained in the theater but also musical theater. So, singing, dancing, acting, in all these genres was a part of my training, and it's a part of the body of work that I've accumulated up to this point, and just continue to hone those skills. And I'm just grateful for the opportunities. I think I'm kind of still sort of under the radar. I mean, people are starting to hear about me, but I'm very excited to be making my debut on television in such a critically acclaimed show like Masters of Sex, and doing roles that are meaningful and that are critical. So I think that it can be difficult for African American actors to do critical work because there's not a lot of critical opportunities for the types of the substance that I've always been attracted to. But I think things are starting to change more and more, and the timing seems to be right for my skill set.
I have a question in the chat room from my friend Andrew, and it's a question about your music. And he asked, "What was your first song that you ever, I guess, wrote when you got started? What was like the first song you ever wrote?"
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, when I first started writing, I did a new version of Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. My first record was called Preacher Love Volume 1, that you can get on iTunes. And so I started taking Negro spiritual songs and creating a whole new version of them. So one of them was Swing Low. Then I started writing original songs as well. You can get that album. You can listen to that album on iTunes and purchase it if you like. But yeah, that's where I started. I'm always writing. I just shot a music video in New York City, a song that I wrote called New York City Springtime. So I'm interested in finishing the studio recording, and then I'll probably put that recording, that music video out. Probably, I don't know, maybe the spring.
Well, let me ask you. I will tell you this, Elijah. If you like, man, I'll be more than happy to play your music on the show. And maybe I should have asked you this before this interview, but I had so much going on, and I just lost. Just wasn't able to ask you beforehand. But if you like, man, like at least after the show, after the interview is over, feel free to email me some songs, and I'll be happy to play them, live on the show.
Absolutely, absolutely. I appreciate that, brother.
And you pointed out a little bit earlier about black actors and actresses in Hollywood and how things has started to change, and with the success of many others like Kelly Washington and Scandal, which has become one of the top TV shows out right now, and the fact that she's an African American female on a primetime show. It just shows that maybe there's things are starting to come together. Maybe there's, maybe more opportunities will, come the way for African American actors and actresses, and do you see that happening? With Kelly and many others will be getting more opportunities in the future.
Well, yes, I do. I think as the world becomes more global, I think so. But make no mistake about it. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot that needs to be done, um, and it's a very complex conversation. But of course, it's wonderful to have Kerry Washington and Viola with her new show, and but there's not a lot of African American men in television, but and then in film you have African American, you have men, black men, but a lot of the leading black men in cinema are British, and so look, I think that the British actors, I think the one thing that they come to the table with is they come with incredible training and discipline, and I think that's great. And I think that African American brothers, we need to be in those leading roles as well. We need to be participating in that. Denzel is he's getting older. Morgan Freeman's getting older. A lot of the black actors that we look up to they're getting older. Even Will Smith is getting older. So who are the young guys coming in? Outside of Chadwick Boseman, who just played in, in the James Brown movie. There's not a lot of us, and there's not a lot of us who are really prepared for that kind of situation. And a part of it is, on one hand, Hollywood hasn't really created the kind of feeder system for, black leading men to step into these positions. But also, if you don't go to Yale or you don't go to Juilliard, which, you're an anomaly if you're a black actor in one of those elite schools. Where are we going? Where are we getting the training to be able to step into these positions? A lot of the actors that I just mentioned came out of the 70s movement of black theater, Negro Ensemble, Carey House. I came through Carey House in Cleveland. The black theater doesn't exist anymore, really. So it's very hard to gain the type of training that will really prepare you for a dexterous career and a career that's just a great to build a great body of work. So that's important, because not everybody's going to get into Juilliard, not everybody's going to get into Yale grad. So we have to continue to train. It's very hard to make a living in the theater, whether you're here in New York, especially in Los Angeles, it doesn't pay. So, an actor has to really be willing to sacrifice for the long haul to gain the type of experience and the training to really be prepared when these big opportunities come. And that's what the British actors are willing to do. I mean, they're willing to train. And so when they come to America, man, they're ready. All guns are loaded. So we have to be able to compete at that level if we want to see ourselves move forward and continue the legacy of the Ossie Davises and the Ruby Dees and the Cicely Tysons of the world.
I absolutely agree. There definitely needs to be more, I guess, more opportunities because, like you said, not everybody's going to be able to afford going to these big acting schools or whatever the case may be. And, of all these big names that we have currently, like Will Smith and Denzel and Forrest Whitaker, Morgan Freeman, Father Time is catching up with them, and at some point we got to start focusing on who's that next generation of
Yeah.
black actors, and that's not that many. Another person, Michael B. Jordan, who was in a movie, and I mean, other than that, it's just I just hope that there's more opportunities for for the males to get an opportunity. I mean, you're always gonna get the females, like they get more attention than the male does. And I guess they're not getting as old as the males are, so I guess they still appealing to the big screen, I guess. But for males, it's very concerning. Like, where do we go after these big names eventually have to start maybe going behind the scenes or being directors or whatever, because they're not going to be start doing movies forever. They got to start focusing on other things, if you will. But I guess it's just a matter of waiting to see, and hopefully there's more opportunities for training and more opportunities for roles for the male actors of the future. Like yourself, you look like sky's the limit for you, man. Like, you're doing big things right now, and I say there's hope for you. I'm just hoping there's hope for a lot of other aspiring actors at some point.
Yeah. I mean, I've the thing about it, I'm certainly paying my dues. That's for sure. And I have good representation now, and so I've put in the work, and I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful that the opportunities are unfolding, and I just I want to represent this next crop, this next generation of formidable actors. My thing is I just want to work with great actors. I don't care what color they are. I want to work with the best of the best. Because I want to grow as an actor, and I want to be around the greats. My peers and my elders. So I've always had an affinity for the great entertainers, all the way back to Burt Williams, Lincoln Perry, Sidney Poitier, and Harry Belafonte, Sammy Davis. Just all these guys I've studied intensely, and I think that the younger generation, we have to know the history from which we come, and I think it helps us a lot to understand also some of the hurdles that we have to overcome to continue to push forward and to start thinking internationally. It's a global landscape now, so it's bigger than just Hollywood. It's about creating an international presence, and I think the time is really interesting. Now people can make movies, on their cell phone. I mean, people can make movies. The technology is here, so we really don't have any excuses not to create our own content and to create and to tell the stories that before the barrier of entry was so high, we couldn't, you couldn't get in if you didn't have, $1 million or a few million to even think about doing a independent film. But now the game has changed. It's just about, are you willing to tell that story, even if you don't, even if you make no money, if you just focus on creating great art. And so that's where I'm at, man. It's not as glorious as Hollywood makes it seem to be. It's a lot of hard work and dedication, but we do it because we love it, and we do it because we are passionate about telling stories that matter.
Well said, man. Well said. And before I let you go, Elijah, why don't you go ahead and promote your social media links? Where can people learn more from your work and your, Twitter, Facebook, any other links people need to know, website as well? Go ahead and promote your links, man.
Absolutely, I appreciate it. Well, my website is ElijahRock.net. My Facebook is Elijah Rock / fan page. My Twitter is at Elijah Rock. Instagram at Elijah Rock. Same for Pinterest. Yeah, I mean, if you Google Elijah Rock, you can find all my social media links. Everything is connected through my website as well. I really look forward to you guys checking out Masters of Sex. I think it's an incredible storyline, and kudos to them for taking on the sole civil rights storyline I'm a part of. And please reach out to me and become, communicate. I communicate on my Twitter and all my social media, so I'm very present, and it is me. So reach out and say hello. I'm looking forward to meeting new friends and new fans.
Again, the name of the show is called Master of Sex, and it will be premiering on September the 7th. That is a week from tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, only on Showtime. Season 2 premiere next Sunday.
Yeah, well, we're already in season 2, but it's going to be the 9th episode that I appear. I first appear.
All right, well, Elijah's debut for that matter next week. So tune in, check it out. And again, thank you for your time, man. Best of success goes out to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You have a good night, man.
You too. Bye-bye.
That was Elijah Rock joining me on the show.